What's up guys, welcome back to Smoking UK, where we review, communicate and educate all things tobacco. Today I'm joined by some very special guests from the guys over at Hiram Solomon Cigars. Let's run the intro and let's pick their brains about their product.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important announcement.
First of all guys, thank you and welcome to Smoking. We have a lot of fans and a lot of people coming and buy your product. It means the world to me personally, as well as the company that you've come on to the channel. So first, before we start talking about the cigar that we've got sat in front of us here, where did Hiram Solomon Cigars originally start?
In the lodge.
Do you want to go or do you want
No, you start, please.
It started in the lodge room. Definitely started inside my brain. Let me put it that way. For many years until one day we decided at the lodge we needed some money for a scholarship, and I came up with the idea why we don't make a cigar that carries our logo. We sell it to the brethren. No plans of making it a brand. No plan of expanding it. Now it's not my business.
Yeah.
I did not know much about tobacco besides smoking good cigar, whether I like it or I don't like it. Besides that, I had no clue about the tobacco. So I ended up making 1,000 cigars that we sold to the brethren in less than a week, and we made $5,000 at that time for the scholarship that we needed. Wow. And that's where the whole thing started, and we expanded from that to being in over 30 countries and many, over 800 cigar lounges in the US.
Wow. And what year was that?
That was 2014. So
well, it's still fairly new compared to most.
Yeah, so we will celebrate our 10th anniversary in January.
Wow, so you've come a long way in a very short time, really, 10 years when it comes to most, when you compare it to other cigar companies. Yeah,
very proud to say that many of the major brand owners that they came to me congratulating us on the 6th year or 7 years anniversaries, and saying that we accomplished in the 6 years what it took them to 25 years to accomplish. And these are coming from legends in the cigar industry, and that meant a lot for us.
Yeah.
A lot.
It was a big
that
push.
was a big push, and definitely that some of that attribute to the support of the brethren all over the world, the Masons, the brothers. But to have their continuous support, we needed to make sure that we have a product that stands for it, for the quality of the brethren also.
Yeah.
And the support that needed from them.
So how did it go from being, we're going to make this one cigar to raise money for us, to being a full-fledged business? Was it just word of mouth from other brothers in other lodges, or did you market it and go, right, no, we want it to be a brand? How did you?
Actually, you just said it. It just started going viral within lodges, and they thought that was his business in particular, like because one lodge was doing so well with selling that batch of cigar wood made for charity. So they approached Fouad, but where can we make another batch for us? And it was not easy, you can't make a batch here, a batch there. There's a minimum of we're talking about premium cigars here.
Yes.
So you still need to make a minimum of number of sticks and labels and all that. So one thing after the other, and Fouad loving the cigar in general and being so passionate about cigar smoking, he started thinking, why don't I do this on a different level, on a different caliber, let's do more cigars.
Yeah.
We do charities ourselves. We help the brethren, and in the same time, we share our love for cigars with the rest of the world. Hence, why it's everyone's cigar. We go back to that point later on. So yes, from a small production, it started exponentially growing because of the demand, of course, because of the hard work of Fouad also, and the brethren spreading the word, between lodges among them. And again, we started with 3 different blends, and we are almost up to 16. Not almost, we're
Well,
at the 16th blend. Regarding the vitolas and everything, we're talking about way much more than that, but people understand the exponential growth that was very fast. I always say this and I repeat it. This was like a very early born, may I say, a baby that wasn't supposed to survive, because it was more like a charity. Usually it goes in one way and then it finishes there. On the contrary, today more people smoke Hiram Solomon cigars all over the world, regardless of their belonging to a certain lodge or not.
Yeah, it's insane how many people who aren't in the Masons love the cigars, and it's crazy how many people don't realise it's a Masonic brand.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
true.
There's a lot of people I've spoken to saying, "Oh, Hiram and Solomon, and oh, they're Freemasons." Are they? The amount of times I hear that is crazy.
No.
So you guys are definitely the definition of word of mouth is the best kind of marketing. As much digital as you can do.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's
I would say
right.
about 70% of our smokers are non-Masons.
Mm.
And some of them out of curiosity, some of them they just saw the ratings or the rage about the rave about them on social medias, and they want to see what it is about. And definitely having the great quality of cigars that once you try it, you want to try the second line, the third line, the fourth line, and so on.
Well, that's how I fell into it.
Indeed.
I started off having an entered apprentice, nice and light, and I was like, and then I had another one, and another one, and another one, and then Mars sent me some.
You know, it helped a lot having kind of those degrees in hand for the blend. So it
Yes.
started with, it was naturally happening. So because of the enter apprentice being the first degree, it was
Yeah.
the mild, and then fellowcraft as the medium degree, and the master mason with the full. And then everything else followed with that theme in mind. It was just coming and flowing naturally to create a blend. We do create our blends. We do not go to the supermarket or the factories
Yes.
and choose whatever, because we don't take neither the label nor our followers, friends, smokers, society, I would call it. We don't put our clients, and I don't like neither Fouad likes to call them the clients. It's not our customer, it's not our client, it's our friends and families and people who love to share this whole passion journey with us. And that's how it is. We go and make our blends, and all over the world we choose the tobaccos, the different variation of tobaccos, different strength, different levels, and so on.
Yeah. So how long does it roughly take you to come up with a particular blend? So say if you came up with an idea that you want this for a cigar, what normally is the longest process?
The
of
minimum is
Some of the blends that we're working on right now, it's over 2 years now.
I would say,
Well,
2 or 3. It
it's
depends on
we're still
the
not
tobacco.
done yet because we keep on checking it and rechecking it. And
Yeah.
some blends, it was an instant. That's it. This is what we're looking for.
Yes.
Because when we're doing the blend, we know what we're looking for, and hence comes why we chose the name for it. So we know what we want from that cigar, like the Apprentice. We knew we wanted a mild cigar.
Yes.
We wanted with some kick to prepare you for the next cigar, which is the medium, as the Apprentice prepare you to a fellowcraft degree. So the same thing with the cigar, the philosophy of the 3 degrees, the philosophy of the mild, medium, and full body of the cigar. So we know the profile that we're looking for. We know the strengths. We know what we want, and sometimes we hit it on the first time, and one setting, and sometimes we just, like one of the settings we say, as I said right now, over 2 years now, and we're still not sure if that's what you're really looking for.
It's still not
Yeah.
saturated. In terms of tobacco, as you very well know, there are some tobaccos that are instantly, whatever you see, whatever you puff the first time, it's almost what you're going to get in 3 months' time of aging. Don't worry. I mean, mind you, we take our tobaccos all aged. We don't use non-aged tobacco. But again, then after blending and after rolling, there's another role in aging. That's a very important part. The importance of choosing the proper tobacco after rolling that is saturated versus the one that is going to change with the whole amalgam or with the whole osmosis to create the perfect one. One of them is the Cameroon, for instance. We've been after that blend for over 3 years. Maybe we are a bit too perfectionist, or a little bit, let's say, a bit capricious.
That's a good way to be.
Yeah, because listen, there are hundreds and thousands of cigars in the market. We can name hundreds great cigars. So you just want to compete with the greatest one. You don't want to have just a Cameroon because, hey, I'm missing a Cameroon in my range, you know?
Yes.
The expectation of our friends, smokers, are taking the stakes so high for us. So it is important. We blend the cigar, we send it to friends, a lot of people, influencers, people who understand, aficionado, and we take their comments in very serious fashion. We don't take it like, we just don't smoke a cigar, oh, I love it, let's do this. We sometimes change the name because according to the blend, the name is not going to be matching the expectation of the smoker, especially when it comes to the brethren.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can definitely say that you take your quality control seriously. You
that's
never take your time.
That's the lowest of
seriously.
the expectation, like
very seriously.
all that. I mean,
if you're going to put a product out, it's going to be a good one.
Oh,
you're not just going to say, "Oh, we're going to do that just to make some money and make
No. A lot of people ask us for, do we have any? If I'm going to call it not a cheap cigar, or what do you call it, like
a budget
cigar, and we until now we refuse to put such thing, even though it's probably will be more profitable for us as far as pricing and the quantity that we're going to sell. As you mentioned before, I mean, we don't want quantity in the lodges, we want quality.
Yes.
So we rather sell less cigars, but knowing that each cigar is carefully looked after and humidified and blended the right way, rather selling than hundreds of thousands or millions of cigars that they are not quality cigars and people will remember them as cheap cigar.
Yeah.
It's already keeping up with the quality and the best of the market, because every year you have a new weather, a new leaf, a new tobacco. This is not something saturated, like I say, you buy plastic and you can make the same plastic chair over the years and years. It's not going to change. Nothing will change in that. This is like wine, literally. You're buying it, you're aging it, you're going through all the process, keeping up with the fluctuation of everything that matters in the maturity of that leaf and all the way by the time it's in the cellophane. It's already a challenge in itself.
And on top of it, many other brands are bringing beautiful blends in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we cannot keep up with that, eventually it will be a slow death for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another reason. Yeah, absolutely.
So the one thing I've noticed, and I think the one thing everybody knows, especially when I'm up in smoking, they're coming to the humidor, they see the Hiram Solomon, is not just the quality of the cigar, but the quality of the bands. You don't just have boring bands. There's some of the most beautiful looking cigars, even if you went down the Enter Apprentice, which is a more simpler band compared to others in your line.
Very, very intriguing bands we have, and we try to have it as much as symbolism in it and
yes,
attractiveness and to put the whole philosophy and idea behind that specific blend. Yes.
Yes. So what comes first, the blend or the design for the band?
The name.
The name. Yep.
The design, then the blend that goes with it.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, we switched some blends because it didn't match the profile of the name. So we'd rather keep that blend and do something else that will give it a kick. You know, there are degrees that people only understand if they were part of the brethren. You can't have a Master Mason in a mild cigar because that's
absolutely
the intensity of it. Where traveling men, for instance, we use the Indonesian Sumatra.
Yeah.
I always say in the vocabulary of wine, it's like a Merlot wine. It goes with everything. I don't like Merlot much. I like a traveling man very much. But it's like a Merlot. But you can't ask people to have a strong wine because they might not like it, which is the case of the full body and full strength.
Yeah.
Traveling man is so round, so literally matching and corresponding to different palates. And hence the world traveling man, because it's worldwide and the tobacco comes from all corners of the world.
And that cigar's done really well in the UK for the few people that have had it, because not many tobacconists stock that one yet. The traveling man has gone down a dreamy. You go onto any social media pages, everyone's talking about the traveling man.
It's our second bestseller after the Master Mason, definitely. And more people start, especially in Europe, start discovering the traveling man and the revival also, and the different ones. It's harder to bring more blends in the Europe than we have in the US. In the US, we can introduce a blend any second, any moment. In Europe, it's harder. It takes planning a year or two until that specific blend is made for this Europe in Europe. And if it's acceptable in the UK, it may not be for France or Germany or something. So it's hard. And a lot of people, why we don't have this cigar, especially in this last intertobacco, why we don't have the cigar, why we cannot get the veil profit in France, why we cannot get the cigar in this places. So the people get confused, but we have to comply with the laws and the capacity of the distributors that we have.
Yes.
They do their best, because knowing that it's not just the blend that you register in the country, you're registering also the vitolas.
Yes.
And every SKU has its own registration,
Fees
and it's a
and
lot of expenses for the distributors. And we thank them for, whatever they can do, they're doing their best, especially our distributor. He's done a great job. We've done great jobs also.
Yeah. There's one thing I was talking to Alan about, was obviously you have quite a large range of different cigars, but obviously in the UK, like every other cigar brand, we only get a really small fraction of it. Is there any chance of getting any further ones in? And he was adamant he wants to get the revival in the UK, which I'm doing cartwheels about, because that's my favourite one out of all of them. So yeah, it'd be nice to see a few more, especially some like the Sublime Prince or the Treaty. It'd be good to see that over.
I mean,
over the UK.
our distributor in the UK, you mentioned, it's a Bright Leaf Cigars and Paresh, Alan and Phil. They do understand this brand and the uniqueness of this brand and the philosophy and the history behind this brand and what each cigar means to us. And they're trying to take that message and bring it to the consumers, to the smokers, saying this is what you're going to expect from this cigar because of this. They did bring the revival to the UK market.
Yes.
It sold out.
It's sold out.
Yes, they did really well.
Very fast. And they did place a much bigger order right now for that. But they are expanding with the blends that they're having also. So sooner or later you're going to see more blends in the UK also.
That'd be good. That'd be really good. Because we get a lot of customers coming in saying, "Oh, have you got any other Hiram Solomon cigars? I've had this one. Have you got any more?" And it's like, "No, come back in like 6 months." Maybe.
I should say, when we met Phil 5 years ago, it was just like, working with people as professional as the Bright Leaf and Paresh and his team. It is very important for the whole relationship. It's not just we want to sell the cigars. It's just a relationship to keep on with that. And they understood the vibe and the energy of this brand in particular, that you can't have 2 or 3 of the blends on your shelf and they're going to sell. That's true, but they're not going to be growing. They're going to just sell the same number every year. Yes. So they had the good eye on that. And probably, I don't want to be big-headed, I don't want to try to make other brands jealous, but we grew with Bright Leaf way faster in orders and growth of demand than other brands, I would say, because they understood the whole technique behind it. Let's bring different blends.
They were in sync with us, definitely,
Absolutely,
with what we're looking for as
a
from our distributor. I don't want to call them distributor because that's probably the wrong name. They distribute the cigar, but they are our partners in every country.
Absolutely.
Their success is our success, their failure is our failure also, and vice versa.
I would invite, I would definitely invite Paresh to give some courses to different distributors about the vision and what the brand making people know about it and how the brand works, because every country has a different attitude towards the cigar. And lots of people think it's Masonic, so Masons should do their job. Not 100% of Masons smoke cigars. Yep. They do support the brand because they know another brother or another someone who would like to smoke our cigar, but the job is supposed to be done the way the brand making people, the owners of the brand and their partners, distributors are doing it.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. I think they, as a distributor, especially with them working with us as a retailer, they're so good at getting that message across. If we were going to do, say, Cigar of the Month that we do, and we do Hiram Solomon, they would talk to us and team up with us and go through every single thing. This is the message behind this stick, this is the message behind that stick. They're absolutely amazing blokes to work with. And it'd be cool next year to possibly do a Hiram Solomon event with these guys, because they're the easiest people.
We did talk to them, they're planning on North England and Wales events.
Yes.
So hopefully you'll see us in your area.
You have to come up.
We will.
I'm excited for you to see our humidor. We have the largest walk-in humidor in the UK. So
Nice.
excited to see. We call it the jaw dropper.
That's great.
Nice.
So let's talk about the cigars that we've got sat in front of us. So I haven't seen that cigar.
No, that's
So
not in the
what-
in the market, and unfortunately, as I said, we're coming from Inter Tobacco. We did not expect, knowing we're gonna have large supporter coming and looking for the cigars. We did not expect that many people coming, and we almost ran out of every cigar beside this one. And the only reason the cigar stayed alive is actually because we hid a box of it, and we did not take it with us to Dortmund. So it is the Chabal cigar actually, and it was Ecuadorian Criollo. It was made specifically for the Grand Lodge of Georgia, for the most worshipful Donald Trump. And the money for this cigar goes to his charity. Part of the proceeds goes to his charity. And the name Chabal, it's a Hebrew for cord. So a cord tied together, we are stronger. One cord that's not strong enough. So two cords are three cords, it's much stronger. So that's where the Chabal, it's the cord tied together.
And you've partnered with quite a few lodges over these. Like you did the treaty in partnership with which
Georgia
two lodges?
also.
Oh, that was Georgia also.
Yeah,
But that's another
the
lodge,
treaty.
yes.
The treaty was actually it's a story behind it. It's after we did the cigar, they got in touch with us, the Grand Lodge of Georgia, because they signed a treaty, the recognition between the Grand Lodge of Georgia and the Grand Lodge Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Georgia, which are the African American Masons in the U.S. You guys probably don't have that in Europe, but in the U.S. at certain time they existed the African American lodges separate and regular lodges, and the states start recognizing each other. And in 2000, I think, believe 2022 was when Georgia recognized both Grand Lodges recognized each other, and they called us. They asked us to do something that celebrate that historic occasion.
Yes.
And we created the treaty for it because they signed the treaty, and we had if you look at the band, you see the seal of the both Grand Lodges on top of each other.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing cigar, an amazing historical moment that we were honored to attend, and actually they gave us even time to go on the podium and talk about the cigar and the creation of the cigar. It was a historic moment.
That must have been a great celebration.
Absolutely.
That must have been great.
Absolutely.
We're making history with that.
Do you have many lodges approach you saying we want to do a blend with you, or do you approach the lodges? What
I'll tell you. At the beginning, we struggled to gain the support of the brethren. If I said it's not a struggle, it took us some time for them to understand the whole philosophy. It took us years for Grand Lodges to understand that Hiram Solomon Cigar became an ambassador for the fraternity in one way or another without planning for it. People start asking questions about Freemasonry. Most of our interview, 60% of it goes to people asking about the fraternity, not just the cigar. People want to know what are the Freemasons.
Yeah.
The conversations or the replies on every post that we put, whether you're against Freemasonry or with Freemasonry, and that back and forth that create the buzz about the fraternity and the cigars. So Grand Lodges start after the third or fourth year realizing that there is something to this company that they can use, and this is where we start seeing. Before we were calling and saying we can help you do this and that, and now we have Grand Lodges after others that they approaching us, calling us nonstop, and over 15 Grand Lodges right now that they're calling, they want a cigar.
Wow.
And we are in a position right now we can pick and choose which one we want according to what kind of support they're going to give us at the same time too.
Yeah.
So and also the capacity. We cannot create 15 different blinds for 15 Grand Lodges every year or 50. I mean, we have in the US alone we have 100 Grand Lodges. Each state has 2 different Grand Lodges, and and then worldwide we are in the process right now doing one for Italy, Hopefully one for Germany, one for the UK soon.
That'd be good.
So it's quite intensive.
Challenge. Yeah.
It's a challenge. It's a big challenge. How are we gonna, if 20 Grand Lodges approach us, are we gonna introduce 20 different blends, and how are we gonna be able to sell all those?
Yes.
And at the time, because each one of these cigars, the money part of that proceed will go back to their charity.
Yep.
That's the main thing, that we started as a charity, we continue to do so, and we will continue to in the future to stay that way.
So touching on the topic of charity, do you have a set charity that you support solely, or do you have multiple charities that you support, or do you just support the charity of that lodge that you've made the blend for,
Right.
or is it a bit of everything?
No, every cigar, every blend we have is part of a certain charity to start with. Now the Grand Masters edition will be way more advanced in that particular charity. That means the Grand Master himself chooses a charity of his choice. A lot of them as the Dyslexic Center or elderly people to be taken care of, etc. Now our biggest, of course, passion is the Shriners. The Shriners Hospital, a lot of people do not have any idea about it, but now because of our exposure, they have an idea, they have a big idea of what we're talking about. And the Shriners are our, like I said, main target to as much as we can provide help.
The Shriners are part of the Masons that operate about 22 hospitals free of charge for whomever cannot afford. And they do over $3 million a day in charity.
Wow.
So that's our biggest target.
Talking about the Shriners is
dyslexic
a
centers.
big thing. Like it's never enough. They do circuses, they train clowns to go entertain children in the hospitals, in the trauma centers, and we're talking about people from the Brethren who would go and train for free. Of course, it's just part of them doing some kind of help. They go to the hospitals, take care of entertaining the children. So it's never enough, no matter how much we give them, it's not enough. Yes, we want to do more, and definitely at the target or the furthermore we were thinking was this brand should be a more philanthropic part of our life and not like beneficial part of our life. And we're still building it. Of course, we're still like not seniors in the business, but whenever we get there, it's going to be mainly targeted to create a certain philanthropic entity more than charity.
Yeah, so to answer perfectly, so we have our main charities. Every Grand Lodge cigar, they choose their own charity, and on top of it, we do donate for lodges, not just Grand Lodges, to lodges for their cigars events or golf events or anything that also support their own charity. And on top of that, we did the project with what we call Cigar for Warriors that donate. They collect cigars and donate it to the soldiers that serves overseas. So we were a big part. We were the first brand that teamed up with them to do a cigar called Live to Serve. And it was sold, and the whole proceeds went to the soldiers.
100% of those cigars.
Wow.
That was not part of it. Yes.
Went to the soldiers. So we have multiple charities.
And non-Masonic also, not just this is non-Masonic. A lot of people approach us from our
whether
website.
churches
There's
or
a church,
the
or
community
there's a school,
or
or
any
there's
schools.
someone in difficulty, or somebody passed away and they need to help the family.
Yeah.
We do not donate maybe sometimes financially, but we donate things that they can raffle or they can sell and make something, whatever they can.
I think that's one thing most people don't realise about the Masons is exactly how much charity raising is involved.
We're very shy. Announcing
humble,
it.
I would say.
Humble. But I think that's coming to bite us right now because people don't know. And I think it's time for Freemasons around the world to come out and say, this is what we do for the community. As much as against saying, if you want to do charity, keep it to yourself. But this is different. That's what I believe. And I know a lot of people may disagree with me with that, saying we don't need to say it, but there's a lot of anti-Masons in the world.
Absolutely.
It's time for us to tell them, listen, this is what we really do in the community, and this is why we existed. We are not a fraternity that's here to control the world. We are not a fraternity that have our...
As much the conspiracy theories, they say.
Our biggest secret, as the one Grandmaster said, our biggest secret is we don't have secrets.
Yes.
It sort of clashes with the principle of being a Mason. A Freemason is to be humble, and it clashes to go out and brag about what kind of charities or what kind of help you are providing. But on the second hand, we're living in 2024. This is a time where everything is viral, including charity. People get more motivated, more interested to do so. So if you go public, if you talk about it, a lot of people might have some empathy or some sympathy. It's a shame that Shriners Hospital and the Shriners entity is almost not known outside the United States and in the United States. A lot of people do not have an idea. It is a shame, really.
Yeah.
You think what they do is small? No, it's way bigger than what we can even explain now in a few minutes of this interview. But I invite everybody to look more behind how evil or not evil these people are. Look behind that. Look, they're not recruiting. Though they're not grooming, they're not recruiting, they're not doing anything. They have hospitals, they treat burn centers, trauma centers, they treat them, orthopedic centers, 100% treated, taken care of with their family. They travel with their family to the country where they can do that, and then they send them back to their country of origin. And nobody knows about this, right? And people know more about the small event here and there that was a little charitable, etc.
Yes.
All right.
So, have you ever received any pushback because of anti-Masons so far in 10 years? Have you had anyone turn around and say, I don't want to stock your cigars because...
It's negligible, I would say. Negligible.
Very few, very negligible, and I actually feel pity for them
Yes.
because they don't have enough knowledge. They didn't have the chance to look deep into it, and they just. And I feel pity for them, honestly.
It
Nothing
is
else.
negligible, not worth
Very
the
negligible.
energy, not
Very
worth the
negligible.
energy.
Yeah.
We were very well received within the cigar community, even with all the symbolism on the cigar, even all the meaning and the names, everything. They were very acceptable. And the minute we sit down with the retailer that has no clue about and we explain to him the whole idea, they 99% of the time they are very open to it and very supportive of it.
That's fine.
That's good. I think it's easy to
But
believe what you see on TikTok.
Yeah, we need that 1%. We need that negative 1%, and I have
Pushes us to do
no.
more.
It's good.
That's perfectly fine.
It pushes us to do more.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, honestly, our pages are public, and you don't even see. We have no filters on what people can post on our posts or nothing at all, and you barely see something like not cute or not that
Yes.
pleasant, I would say.
Yeah.
But again, I invite everybody to discover more. It's not just what you hear; just dig in. There's a
Yes.
lot of stories out there. Just do your homework before
Oh.
blaming it on people. Do your homework. It's how public and how efficient can you be selling the cigars. You pay the taxes the minute they enter your country. You have to pay your taxes on it. So it's clear the money is coming, where it's coming from, where you're investing.
Yep.
You don't have hidden agendas behind it. We're not recruiting people to smoke. We're not recruiting people to become Masons. And that's not the idea of joining the fraternity, to be one outborn. That's what we say on our cigars. That's all.
I love that. So I was doing my bit of homework into the brand, and it seems you've bounced around a bit when it comes to your operation. So am I correct that you were originally in Dominican Republic, went over to Nicaragua, and now back in the Dominican Republic? Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
What was the reason for the moves?
It was mostly a logistical move, nothing else actually. The first move, from Dominican to Nicaragua was a needed move at that time because the factory that we started in Dominican was a very tiny, small cigar company that will do 10,000 cigars for you, and that's about it. But when we start growing, they couldn't accommodate us in any way or shape, and that's why we moved to a bigger company in Nicaragua, and we did very well with them. They're very well known cigar factory. And during COVID, or logistically, we couldn't get the cigars from Nicaragua. We had no choice but to move our operation to Dominican, where we can get it easier with the same blend. Some of them definitely got approved. but we use the same tobacco, we use the same blends on all of it. And we took that opportunity to actually rebrand our boxes and bands to improve on them a little bit. Some of the mistake that, I won't say mistake, some of the stuff that we did not notice before, we added it, like the name on the cigar. People were more recognizing it's the purple band, it's the blue band, or it's the red. So we added the name on the cigar, on the new bands now. And we believe we improved on the look of the boxes, where it's more attractive and more retailer friendly.
Eco-friendly also, because
And
we were using,
we were
wood
using
boxes,
wood, now we use more cardboard.
the cardboard, and it's more
Press-
efficient
press
on
cardboard.
the weight, on the transportation, on the display, and all of the above. Yeah.
Well,
So
as a
mostly
retailer,
it's
it
low
stacks
budget,
lovely
yeah.
on a shelf.
So mostly it's logistical issues and nothing else.
Logistically, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It was hard to come out from COVID with all the lockdowns happening in different countries. So we had to choose what's best for the company to
Yeah.
survive.
So did you see a spike in sales from COVID? Like as retailers,
Of course. yeah.
COVID hit, everyone started smoking. So just sales rocketed. Did you see that?
That's the reason we had to have another source of cigars, which that's why we moved to Dominican, because the lockdown was over there and we didn't have anything in stock left because of the spike during COVID and post-COVID. It was just amazing. It was not expected, or nobody calculated anything. So our fear was, are
We
gonna
were
drop in
lucky
sales?
that we got
Yeah.
the big order right
Was
before
before
COVID.
lockdown. Yeah, not
And we were fully stocked with everything. But in our head was we had enough for a year or two or a year and a half,
we had
18
to,
months.
just to tell
And
you,
place the next order, not realizing in 6 months into COVID we were wiped.
Wow.
but just to give you a brief idea about how it worked, how short we were at some point, because everything was selling like hot muffins, hot cakes. We sold everything we had in our own collection that we
Yeah.
wanted to age and keep for
Some
us
of the cigars
during
that
the
we
years.
kept
Like we
for
started in
aging, for later
2014,
use.
gone.
Gone.
Wow.
Not even anything left. That was, almost, telling you how it went. The spike was crazy.
That's good.
It was,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
That's what
of
we're gonna
course
hear.
it is.
One positive about the COVID era,
Right.
if I'm gonna call it, yeah. The Zoom meetings that all of a sudden you're sitting in a Zoom, that stuff we did not have before, and you have people from the 20 countries
Right.
just there talking. Australia,
Well, we
Hong
went up to
Kong,
50
UK,
sometimes
50,
from
yeah,
different countries.
different
but
people,
An
different
average
area,
20,
and
yeah. Every day.
and we connected with these people, and most of them were still very good friends until now. And lots of them came to the Enter Tobacco
Yeah.
just to see
Every
them for the
time
first time
there's
in
a trade
person.
show, a lot of them come and,
Yeah.
oh, we used to be on this Zoom time. Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Like people, it's just a circle expanding, like amazingly nice. And, you look forward to meeting them in real life, although you really think, oh, we've met, right? We've been together. Oh, no, we met on Zoom during COVID and the lockdown. So we had every single day, if I wouldn't say 2 or 3 interviews, not interviews, Zooms, right?
Yeah.
But definitely one. Definitely every day. there
That
was
kept
one.
us going.
Wow.
As
Kept
far
us
as
alive.
alive, like
At least you never got
we were locked, both of us at the house, and our only way out to the outward was the Zoom meetings.
We
Yes.
were always dressed up because anytime we popped on the screen, you
Yeah.
don't want to be in your PJs. You're just ready
I
for
remember
it.
sitting outside doing Zoom meeting and smoking cigars, and during COVID, like in the middle of COVID, where people won't even talk to you 15, 20 feet, and people like passing by looking at us and we're smoking cigars and we're talking to people and they look at us like, what the hell are these people?
What are these people
Are they
doing?
from this world? Or what?
It's important to mention that we were sitting on the front yard so we can see people, not just to keep ourselves sane more, like
Yeah.
insanity. In the backyard, you don't see anyone. So we learned how to, see people's face. So we thought, we're going to smoke in the front yard. Next thing, after a week, everybody was on Zoom, still on the front yard, looking at people, dog walkers and smokers, and Zoom. It was amazing. It was just,
Game changer.
yeah, we're trying to, take the best out of the worst.
I think you definitely made the best out of us. It seems like you built like a community around you. I know that's kind of your tone of voice for the brand anyway. But doing
Yeah.
so many Zoom calls, you literally have built a community a very loyal community.
Absolutely,
yeah,
around
I
it.
totally agree with you on that. Yes, it
A
was
lot of
a
groups of
very
cigar
yeah.
group of cigar community got created during COVID and still like that. A lot of Hiram Solomon friends were created, and
Yeah.
other group of cigar smokers. A lot of people on YouTube,
Yeah.
like you and other.
I think one of our supporters asked for, technically permission to create Hiram Solomon Friends on Facebook, and before we know it, we're over 6,000, probably 5,000. I'm sure the last time I looked, it was 5,000 something members that joined the group.
Just Hiram
Such
Solomon friends.
such
Wow.
a small period of time, yeah.
That's
And
at least you've got a
that's-
good
yeah.
loyal following. That's one
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
I find with the people who come in and say, "Oh, I want to hear them." So they're very loyal to the brand.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like
Cult.
but like that's a really bad word for it. But like it's kind of, if you like the brand, you love the brand. You don't just go, "Oh yeah, I've had a Hiram Solomon cigar." It's kind of like, "Oh, yes, you need to try this one."
James, one day, the best compliment I would say that I would like to always memorize. Someone said, "It doesn't matter what blend you guys have, but for sure, if the label is not there, we just lit a cigar, we know it's Hiram Solomon." That was amazing.
Yeah,
That was, nobody realizes how big it was for us, because that's how much time and how much passion we put to create that blend. So someone saying that, I was like, all right, I rest my case. That's it. I don't want to hear more. That's it. Thank you for why I'm leaving now. You know, it's not the branding now; it's the recognition, and it's hard because this is a sensitive recognition. It's related to your senses. It's not related to your vision. It's just memory. You're just smoking something. You would say, "Oh, I think this is Hiram Solomon." How good is that?
that's
Excellent.
the ultimate compliment.
James, from our first existing, from the first year, we always were in the top 5 boutique cigars in the world, rating wise.
Yeah.
And definitely that was hard to keep, but then we got the #1 boutique cigar, and that's when you realize how hard it is to keep that standard, or even how you're gonna break that now.
Yeah,
You're on the
stage
top
is
now,
higher and
and
a lot of
what
pressure.
you put on now. And this is where harder work needs to be put in to stay on top, not to like to go down.
And you say that drives your quality control. It's like, no, we have to be better than. I always say you're only as good as your last cigar.
We
And
have
then-
direct groups with our factory, and they're, from the owner to the operation manager. The group on WhatsApp is serious, like anything. Like on daily basis, we smoke, we control the quality. Anyone has a complaint, we just forward that. We talk about it. If anything is not good in the construction,
One bad
usually
cigar and 10,000 cigars
We complain.
can make a whole conversation on WhatsApp, non-stop conversation for a long time. Why?
Yeah.
Even though that's very acceptable, it's a handmade thing, and you should expect stuff like this. But we want to make sure that we minimize that to the least possible.
Because it could be your worst experience where my whole target or my motto is to make you, for the first time, whatever time you're smoking that cigar, to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
So one bad cigar, yes, it exists. Of course, it's a handmade again. It's a natural leaf. It's a natural element. It can be also in the car too hot or too humid. You went out in a very air-conditioned area. We know all those, but still, we try to give our manufacturers hard time.
Yeah. That's how you produce it. Have you ever come up with a blend, and you didn't have to say it. Have you ever come up with a blend and said, "This is going to be amazing"? You smoke it and you go, "Ugh."
Oh yeah, many times.
I'm telling you,
Many
the
times.
Cameroon was one of them. It's still in the making. But we blend, we move, we put the Ligero here, no Ligero.
Usually we taste it in 30 days, 60 days, 90
Smoke it
days,
goes.
6
It's
months.
nearly
year.
there, a little bit.
So,
a year.
yeah.
After a year, it lost that punch, which is, and whoever knows the Cameroon knows how overwhelming and it's like, it's a beautiful lady. If you have a bad makeup artist, it's gonna make that lady less beautiful.
Yeah.
That is what exactly that leaf, I call it the capricious personality, and you want that thing to be just perfect, because knowing that whoever is gonna buy the Cameroon knows and expects a certain
Yes.
criteria to smoke the Cameroon.
Yeah.
And
And done
It's been-
incorrectly, it's so harsh.
oh yeah.
I've-
The
I've
third
smoked-
year.
I've smoked a few that are a bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't know if I like that. no.
Yeah. So many of the blinds that
Yeah.
we saw, we X on it, or we try to improve it, or we try to change something if it's changeable. If not, we just
Yeah, we just
exit,
quit
and
it.
we
Yeah.
moved to the
Yeah.
second one.
And you mentioned earlier that you smoked some cigars and you're going, yeah, that's it, that's perfect.
And absolutely, yes.
What cigar?
Revival.
The Revival. I can understand why. It's a good blend.
So it was
I love
my
that stuff.
very first blend ever done 100% by me. I have to brag about it. So we were sitting with the master blender in the factory, and there was, of course, kind of like a challenging situation. And the guy was like, "It doesn't work, you know. He doesn't speak a word of English. I do speak some Spanish, but the guy was understanding from my facial subtitles that I'm not pleased, but he wasn't pleased either with the idea. But they are very, very good at understanding the emotions, and what I was saying, I could feel it. He was rolling, coming to us with a certain blend, put this, put that, and I was telling Abe, I said, listen, it's good here, it's good here, it's missing here, and that's it. The guy hasn't spoken a word of English before that. He understood from my mimics, and although he said it's not going to work, and other people were saying this will clash, I'd go like, just do it for me, do it for me. And before I smoked, I liked, and I said, I like it. I'm just waiting for them, and they were all like, wow, this is the blend. Like, yeah, you got it, girl. Since then, I got the reputation. Oh, okay, she can
Make
move-
it bloody
yeah,
good.
she
So
can
look how
move.
quick they sold out every year.
Yeah, that's right. It's a moment of, like a sparkle, I would say, in the moment. And since then, again, I'm of course trying to smoke way more different tobaccos. Of course, elevate my palate and train it. It's like a muscle. You have to train your palate.
Yeah, of course.
It's not only in tobacco. You have to try different seeds, different, I would say, different spices. It will always train your palate. Different nose smell.
Yes.
Is way another level of training it.
Yeah. So, would you say out of all your blends, you have one that's almost like your baby? I know they're all your babies because you've all worked very hard on working. This is where I start putting some off-the-cuff questions in to put you on the spot. So I know they're all your babies, but have you got one that you're really proud of?
Of course, I mean.
You're proud of all
I
of them,
mean,
but-
of course. I mean, I'll be biased if I say the revival is not my baby, because it was, like I said, a challenging
first,
situation. The master blender, which we trust, of course, the guy is the master. He didn't acquire that title just like that.
Yes.
It's not someone who was doing gardening. They say, "Oh, you're a master blender now." No, he knows what he's doing, and eventually, yeah, for me, I would say that is that. But when it comes to smoking Hiram Solomon cigars, I can't. Sometimes I want my Shriner, and I'm very certain that we don't have Shriner in the bag. I get so frustrated, of course. I get, and then
I'm still yet to try. I've actually got one in my bag with me. I'm still yet to try.
I have to
Must
send them to
send me a little care pack.
Mine is definitely the Veil Prophet
I mean,
La-
yeah,
and
the very
Lancero.
yeah.
That's the one. Like if I don't know what I don't want, that's the one I'll go for.
Yes.
In Maduro, if I have to smoke any Maduro, I'm not gonna say the other two brands, but I would say anyway. It's two beautiful brands. One is the Maduro from Fuente, one is the Maduro from Padron, and our Maduro. So these three amazing Maduros.
Well, another one to put you on the spot. Without saying your brand, if you could only smoke 3 cigars for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Outside Hiram?
Outside of Paradise. See, this is why I love this question.
Padron 1926 A Serie A, and that's one definitely. I like from the Fuente the Shark, and
You can say from the Cubans also sometimes.
no.
Okay.
There's nothing that I would say, definitely. Definitely, one of my personal favorite, I like is actually the PTR El Vignette.
Yeah.
Mine would be definitely the Padron 1926 and LFD Andalusian Bull. I'm in love with that.
That's a beautiful looking cigar.
Amazing. Every time I see the Gomez family, I want to just go tell them thank you and leave, but I don't do that. Thank you for that beautiful brand. And the third one would be the Casa Fuente Maduro, special Maduro. They do it for the Casa Fuente in Vegas. And in the in the Cuban world, I would say Hoyo Equipo Dos, and I would love to always smoke a Fartagas D4.
My personal favourite.
Yeah, you see,
Can't
and
go wrong with the
if
D4.
they ever make a good Trinidad Lancero, I'm back to liking it. But it's been a while I haven't smoked. I haven't grown any good Lancero Trinidad. So these are my Cuban and non-Cuban cigars.
Yeah. And then finally, is there anyone in the world that you haven't sat down and shared a cigar with that you'd like to sit down and share a cigar with? For example, you guys are on my list. I have a smoke list of people I want to share a cigar with. Do you have anyone you are yet to meet? I'm sure you meet loads of people doing what you do, but is there anybody you haven't and you want to meet?
It's gonna be like a comic or funny thing. That first person, a human being who decided to roll it, and
Yes.
we always ask that question: what was he thinking? How did he go through the process of doing all that? It's very, very old. You know, there was the leaf there, and he decided to roll it.
Roll it
That's
this
very
way and
interesting.
smoke it.
But historically, of course, there are a lot of people that I would like to have a lot of questions. But the cigar, we're in England, of course. Winston Churchill would be one of
Oh,
my favorite
absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
Just not to be like very iconic, but hey, we're in England, and knowing that that person was in love with his cigars more than anything else in the world, yes, I would say so. How about you, Fouad?
But you-
For me, if I want to be patriotic, I know we're in the UK, we're not in the US. I'll definitely love
Abraham.
to be. No, George Washington.
George
Washington.
George Washington,
Definitely,
yes,
I would.
absolutely.
I would love to also to be with all these soldiers that they're fighting overseas, sitting in the desert, in the deserts, sitting in every part of the world that defending the freedom of all the countries that have freedom. I would like to be with them, smoking a cigar and enjoying a few minutes with them and thanking them for what they're doing.
Absolutely. Well, on that subject, have you tried military cigars yet? The UK Cigar Company.
No.
Right, I'll get hold of some sticks. I'll speak to them, and they do exactly that. So there's very few UK based brands because it's so expensive to get cigars over here, and they are run by veterans, and they raise so much charity for Scotty's Little Soldiers, for Help the Heroes, and they are solely based on education on the military. So they have one cigar after the RAF, one about the Navy, one about the
So probably
soldiers.
the counterpart of what we have with Cigar for Warriors, that organization.
Very similar,
Yes.
very similar.
Yes.
thing. I'll get hold of some sticks.
And it would be
Absolutely.
a pleasure if
Pleasure
there is
and
a
honor,
chance to
actually.
collaborate with them even. We will do our best to bring the best with them.
I don't think he's going to say no to that.
I just
Hugh,
took it
you've
out.
heard it here. Contact
You
them.
heard the deal. Hold us to it.
Shoot me DM. There you go.
I'm not as bad as I was. I'm not as mean as I was.
You're not me.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I think
Thank
we're coming too close to being
you,
kicked
James.
out of the
We
room.
really thank you for the time you took to travel here over 4 hours. James traveled over 4 hours to be with us here today. Where
Very
you
dapper.
can be definitely. I'm very,
It's not how I
very-
normally dress on the channel. I'm normally a hoodie.
I do follow you on Instagram and I like all your videos. And thank you again. And hopefully we'll meet very soon also again. And
That's
thank you
it.
for
Thank
all
you
the
so
smokers
much.
and all our supporters. And I invite everyone. I always end my conversation in anywhere. Please, every cigar smoker, do your job defending your freedom to smoke the cigar. Get in touch with your politician. Get in touch with the government that the places that you live in. Ask them to make sure that the cigars are not a regular tobacco product. They are a premium cigar, and you have the right, as an adult, to smoke the cigar. Do your part. Everyone is asked to do their part. Don't count on somebody else doing the job.
Absolutely.
It's just saying liquid is liquid, so Coca-Cola and wine is the same element. So tobacco and cigarettes are, cigar and cigarettes are not the same just because they carry the same name in the
Yes.
plant. That's what we're saying. There are no additives in this. We do most of all the premium cigars get rid of the additives, get rid of the ammonia, where on the cigarette. That's a whole episode of
We could do a
we can
whole
talk about.
episode just on that.
Yeah, we were just talking about all the vapings, and unfortunately, we're all put under the same umbrella or
Yes.
the same title, like cigarettes and cigars and vapings. No, please fight for that. At least speak loud about it. Talk loud, be loud, yell high, yell low.
Absolutely. That's the perfect way to end the video.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.